Hey, guys, welcome back and happy Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Day. One of my favorite days of the week has to be Wednesday because we always get an interesting new episode of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Now, we know that tonight is the finale of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And of course, in true Bravo tradition, fashion, they are releasing little tidbits of what we get to expect or what we have to expect in tonight's episode. So we see that Sutton is going to apologize going into this Chinese New Year, and Erica really has nothing to say to her. I can't wait to see it, but of course that's not what we're here to talk about. We are back to talk about Denise Richards because everything going on with this child support battle, her daughter's living with Charlie Sheen, her working, now they're saying that she feels blindsided. So I have all the details about that, but before we jump in, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell. Because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. Now with that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys, so from what we're hearing, Denise Richards is fuming. She feels like she was blindsided by this court decision to cut her child support, and she feels like Charlie Sheen is pitting her daughters against her. What they're saying right now, and this is via Radar Online, so just to let you guys know, but what they're saying right now is that Denise Richards is fuming after her ex-husband Charlie Sheen convinced a judge to cut his child support and any payments that go to Denise Richards. Sources close to Denise Richards say that she feels like she's blindsided after Charlie Sheen's decision to go to court, and he didn't decide to go to court until their daughter Sammy moved in with him, and now he's like, wait a minute, if she's living with me, why am I paying you child support? Which kind of you would think makes sense, so I don't necessarily know how she's so blindsided by this, but from what we're hearing, she's pissed. Obviously, we've talked about this part, but Sammy decided to take to TikTok. And mind you, Sammy's 17, so she's almost an adult, which means these child support payments would probably be cut soon anyways. And their other daughter, Lola, is 16. So I would assume that there would probably be another 2-3 years max of child support payments. But she said, being Sammy, that Denise ran an abusive household. So Sammy decided to drop out of high school and is currently living with Charlie Sheen. When it comes to their 16-year-old daughter, Lola, we're hearing that she's still primarily living with Denise Richards. We've heard a lot of flip-flop when it comes to Lola. We don't know what's happening, but we've heard when Denise Richards is off filming, then Lola stays with Charlie Sheen, which makes a lot of sense. That's her father, right? And we've also heard that Lola decided to kind of take the Sammy route and go with her and escape this, what they're calling an abusive household. Denise Richards really needs to clear this up because this is not a good look on her. So if you guys missed our video about this child custody support, child support, custody payment, everything that's going on between Charlie Sheen and Denise Richards, then just to remind you, Charlie Sheen originally filed 2 years ago and kept pushing the court date back. We didn't understand why he was pushing the court date back, but Denise was very surprised that he decided to make the court date on a day that, well, she was out of town. She was working. She feels like this was a ploy in order to make sure she would not show up to court, even though, mind you, I said this in another video as well. Denise made it clear on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that she does not like court. After everything that she's been through with such a public divorce, a public custody battle, and Charlie Sheen, his name has been ran through the tabloids multiple times for a lot. Let's just say that. I don't even want to get into that. But she's made it clear, I don't like being around court, around the system. I don't want to have photographers chasing me, paparazzi in my business. I don't like it. And honestly, I don't blame her. The source close to Denise Richards is also saying that she feels like Charlie Sheen is manipulating the situation and pitting their daughters against her. So she feels like Charlie Sheen is taking the two daughters, probably saying negative stuff, making it look like Denise is such a bad mom and having them turn on her. That way they come live with Charlie Sheen, which would obviously be horrible. But to be fair, growing up, my own personal kind of experience with this, my parents fought over custody and it was the worst ever. You feel like you're in the middle. When you go over to your mom's house, you don't want your mom to say anything bad about your dad. Then your parent who doesn't have custody of you, they're crying all the time. Then you go over to your dad's house and you have to hear them talk bad about your mom. And it's like, it just makes you feel like you just want to be a kid. And this really just puts a damper on all of it. This is the worst position to be in. You think it's bad to be a parent fighting over custody and child support? Being the kid and being torn between the two is terrible. I don't know what it's like to be the parent, but I do definitely sure as hell know what it's like to be the kid. Radar is also saying that Denise and Charlie are not on the same page at the moment, and they've been fighting on and off ever since they got hitched in the first place back in 2002. They had one of the messiest splits in Hollywood, and that goes back to the reason that Denise Richards doesn't want to be photographed, doesn't want to be followed, doesn't want to have paparazzi or a public child support issue or custody battle at all. Again, I mean, if you guys watched, and I'm not comparing Denise Richards to Britney Spears, but if you've watched like the documentaries of how the paparazzi attack her and attack some of these other, you know, Hollywood actresses or actors and chase after them, and they want to know like, hey, what's happening? Are you losing your family? Are you broke now? Are you hitting rock bottom? They're so ruthless because they want a reaction from you, and they want that moment where you look so pissed off, and they capture that and they sell it for, let's say, $100,000, which is ridiculous. But again, if you watch the documentary for Britney Spears, you know that some of those photos went upwards of $1 million when the paparazzi were still a thing. Now they still sit around Los Angeles because I've seen them multiple times, but it's not the same now that celebrities have access to social media. So they really just post their own content. And now most of them post vulnerable content where it's like, this is my psoriasis. This is what I look like without makeup. This is what it looks like at home with kids. It's not glamorous. So really the paparazzi don't have a whole lot left to go off of. It kind of sounds like it's a dying business, just to be fair. They also said when Charlie Sheen was making millions on 2.5 Men, Denise Richards was apparently making a lot of money in child support for her 2 daughters. They're saying she was making over $50,000 a month. $50,000 in child support for Sammy and Lola. That blows my mind. What the hell are you doing with $50,000 a month for your child? Like, are they going to is it private school? Is that what costs so much? I mean, are they eating at Mastro's Steakhouse every night, going to Nobu for just a casual, like, hey, we're 13 years old, let's have like a girls' day at lunch? Like, what the hell are you spending 50 grand on? That's insane to me. But after he was paying so much, apparently Denise Richards decided to slash that amount in half, how sweet of her, to $25,000 a month, and decided to let Charlie Sheen see the girls more. So it did appear as if she was working with him, even though it still sounds like that is a whole hell of a lot of money. Just to remind you guys, this all started when Sammy decided to take to TikTok, and she said, 1 year ago today, I was trapped in an abusive household, hated myself, would go days without eating or sleeping, insanely depressed, and hated school. She said, now I finally moved out of the hell house, had a spiritual awakening, own 2 cats, happily single, and I dropped out of high school. This is what kind of ignited it all, but I don't want to say it's Sammy's fault. She's a teenager and she's sharing her experiences. I just don't know how Denise Richards, you need a PR crisis management team at this point. I think that's all I can say. But guys, I want to know what you think. Do you feel like Denise Richards was actually blindsided? How do you feel about at one point making $50,000 a month in child support for her kids? Does that not absolutely blow your mind? Give me your unfiltered opinions. I need them. Go ahead and comment below. And before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell. Because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. Now with that, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.